Awesome. So, welcome everybody once again to our International Networks Orientation. It's going to be an exciting time. We're going to give you a ton of information today. So, I know it's going to be a lot, but promise we'll send everything so that you can look over the information. And then, if you have questions, because we're giving a lot of information, I will probably ask to hold most of the questions until the end. However, when our leaders do speak, you'll have a couple of minutes to ask them some questions. And then at the end of the presentation, then, everyone can kind of ask whatever they'll like. So if we could move on to the next slide. This is a little bit of the agenda for today. So we're going to do our welcome and our introductions. Then we're going to hear from our leadership. We're going to have network advice from one of our presidents that's online. And then we're going to see multiple ways in which you can engage your alumni in the different regions that you're at. Then we're going to give our very first International Volunteer of the Year Award. It's going to be really exciting. And then we're going to close off and then open it up for discussions. We're going to hear a lot of great things. So it's going to be awesome if you can stay. I realize that, it's different time of day for a lot of different people. So if you do have to go back to work or, hop on for whatever reason, that is totally okay. That's why we're recording so that you can have all of that information. And then I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I feel like I hopefully know most of you, but if I don't, hello. I'm Jenny or Jennifer. I have a lot of different names, but most of you, I've seen a lot of emails where you call me Jennifer and Mina. Mina is my official last name, but you can call me Jennifer or you can call me Jenny. All of those work. I'm an Emory grad, class of 2017. I also graduated from Hopkins in 2022 with my master's, and I do a lot of traveling, lots of family activities, and I also run a nonprofit foundation. And I have the honor and the privilege of being the Associate Director for International Alumni Engagement. So I love getting to meet all of you and planning exciting programs around the world. So that's a little bit about me. Now we're going to move forward to talk about you. So if everyone could just share their name, the network that they represent, and maybe, what's your favorite kind of ice cream, just to kind of break the ice, since I know a lot of us don't know each other. So actually, Melissa, if you could stop sharing the PowerPoint for just a second so that we can see all of the different faces. And then I will just kind of start calling out names to make it kind of move fast. But I'll go ahead and start with Juan since he's the first one showing up on my screen. Juan, I think people are having a hard time unmuting, right? Is that what I'm seeing? Okay. Can you try again? I think you should be able to now.
It works.
Yay. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right, Quan, take it on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Quan, graduate of, Emory MBA from class of 2010. So I've been serving in Alumni China Board since, I guess, 2013. So a little bit more than 10 years now. So it's an honor to be part of the process of building a vibrant community here in Shanghai and in China at large. So in recently in the area of new energy, especially in hydrogen area. It's a very exciting area, and we do hope to have more interactions with the rest of the world. So it's a real pleasure to meet all of you, although virtually, but I hope one day we'll have a chance to meet in person.
Awesome.
Yeah, over to you, Jenny.
Zach, you introduce yourself.
Yeah, Zach, I run the Emory Netherlands network, and I've been doing that since the summer. And just as part of the icebreaker, my favorite is vanilla. So, and all the flavors, all the toppings that go on top of that. So it's not boring vanilla.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. Michael.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael DeSanto, and I'm in Spain, in Madrid. I'm a graduate of Emory College in 1984. And it's really because of Emory on one of their summer programs that I ended up coming to Spain after graduation and did business school here and really made my life here. So talk about an impact of Emory on your life. Certainly had a tremendous one for me. I was on the international board, alumni board for 6 years, and trying to help represent Emory in Spain and from the European side. And my favorite flavor is chocolate.
Nice.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Ricky.
Hi everyone, I'm Ricky Munanilako. I go by Ricky because it's a lot easier with English speakers. I'm from Denmark, but I'm heading up the UK Alumni Network, which we're just sort of getting started since this past summer. It's been really excited getting to know more of the UK alums and building up the board here. And my favorite ice cream flavor is Chunky Monkey, except I can't find it in the UK. But when I lived in the US, we could get Chunky Monkey ice cream, and it's fabulous. It's got like bananas and chocolate chips and other good things.
We'll have to send you a care package of that, Ricky. We'll figure that one out.
That sounds great.
Thank you, Ricky. Arnav.
Hey guys, my name is Arnav and I'm from Mumbai, India. This is my first year representing Mumbai and India and helping build the Emory community over here. I graduated from the business school in 2022, and my favorite ice cream flavor, not very exciting, but it's cookies and cream. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Thank you, Arnav. William.
Hello, everyone. My name is William. I represent the network of Emory from Indonesia. I'm currently based in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia. I graduated from MBA Wazera 2019, and I believe I've been part of the board since last year, and we're still trying to build our network here in Indonesia. As you guys know that in terms of numbers, it is not as much as other chapters, but we're hoping that we can establish a stronger network here. And my favorite ice cream flavor, Earl Grey.
Nice.
Nice meeting you guys all.
Nice. Thank you, William. Nice to meet you. Brian.
Yeah, I'm Brian. Now I'm in Shenzhen, China, and this is my first year in the board. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Okay. For those that are not on camera, let me know if I can pick on you. If not, that's okay. But I see. Okay, I see Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy. If you could introduce yourself. And then
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm Jeremy. I graduated from Emory College in 2021, where I studied economics and math. And I'm the president of the Taiwan chapter here in Taipei. And my favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate. I know that's kind of boring, but yeah.
Ooh, not hitting on chocolate. Go ahead, Raj.
Hey everyone, my name's Raj. I went to Oxford in 2010 and college in 2012. I've been in the Middle East my whole life. I grew up in Kuwait and I've been here in Dubai for the last 8 years now, and I represent the Dubai chapter. Yeah, go Oxford. We're sharing ice cream flavors. I like the one, I forget the name, but in Ben and Jerry's, there's one that has a lot of cookie dough and brownies. So I'm a sucker for those two things, and chocolate, vanilla, and all those good things. And what I do, I work in real estate here. People sharing what they're doing, maybe. I'm sorry, I was multitasking, but now you have my undivided attention. But yeah, so I had a great time at Emory, and I'm looking forward to being more active moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Sibel.
Hi everyone. I'm Sibel from Istanbul, Turkey, and I graduated from Emory in 2018. So yes, I'm in Istanbul, and my favorite kind of ice cream, I think it's vanilla. Also vanilla.
Awesome. Thank you, Sibel. Armand.
Hi everyone, I'm Armo. I'm based in London, so I'm on the London chapter with Ricky. I graduated from Rollins School of Public Health in 2020, and in terms of my favorite ice cream is coffee.
Okay, it's a good choice right there. Okay, and
Hi, I'm Ann. I graduated Emory College in '05. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and I found myself in Hong Kong about 11 years ago. I've been involved in the chapter ever since. My favorite ice cream color is mint.
awesome. Thank you so much. And I think the last one we have is Loin. Oh, Loin and Yuki. And then I'll get the staff members later. But I think we have Loin and Yuki.
Hi,
I need
everyone.
a couple minutes. Oh, okay. You go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I was just saying that I need a couple minutes because I just finished work and arrived home. So
No worries, no worries. Go ahead, Yuki.
Hello, I'm Yuki Miyatake from Japan, and I graduated from the full-time MBA last year. And now I'm working for EIDD Japan's office, and my duty is on the regularly policy. And I'm a co-captain of the Japan Alumni Network. And actually, COVID-19 stopped our activity, but we are still now we're rebooting our activity now. My favorite ice cream flavor is caramel. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. But thank you so much
I can talk now.
Oh, good. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hi, sorry everyone. Just arrived home. I'm Lewin. I'm representing the China Shanghai chapter, and really glad to have this opportunity to connect with everyone. Actually, I joined the board around 2017, so it's been a couple years. But I was actually born and raised in Taiwan, and been living in Shanghai for 8 years already. Oh, my favorite ice cream is the raspberry chocolate. I forgot the brand, but I remember it's my favorite one in Publix. I'm not sure if they still have it now. I really miss it.
It sounds good. I think whenever we have the opportunity to get together, we'll have an ice cream party and it's going to be great. So thank you, everyone. And Melissa, if you could kindly put the slides back up. We're going to continue with our program. I really appreciate all of you introducing yourselves, and then our lovely staff members are going to introduce themselves as they get to speak later on. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. And I just wanted to share really quick, this is where all of our networks are active right now. And then we also have previously active networks. So if you guys know anyone in these countries that are from Emory that would like to reactivate those networks, that would be amazing. But currently we have 18 active networks, and some are bigger, some are smaller, but we do have a leader in each of those networks. And so I thought it would be great to share this information with you all. Go to the next slide, please. And as you all know, there are various different ways in which I communicate with you all. Most of you through WhatsApp or email, but there's other chats and stuff like that. So if you're not receiving information from me, please reach out and I'll be sure to get you added. And then I also put two little QR codes. One is to update your information. If you haven't had any information from us in a long time, it's probably because it's outdated. And then number two, if you do live in Europe and you're not receiving any of our communications, it's probably because you have the GDPR suppression rule. So If you scan that code and you fill that information out, you should be able to receive all of our information. So that's important, and I wanted to share that. We'll go to the next slide. And I also wanted to share with you all my leadership, who I report to. Sherry is my manager. She cannot be with us today, but I know she would have loved to. And then I also have our amazing Sarah, who leads our entire regional team. And then we have our amazing AVP, which is Jen Kyles, and she's also going to be speaking to us today. So following up, I believe we have Jen, and Jen is going to give an overview of the Alumni Association. So Jen, take it away.
Thank you. I am so sorry that I can't turn my camera on. I am in the car en route to the campus, the Atlanta campus, and I think it would just make everyone dizzy. So I am Jen Kyles. I graduated from Oxford 1998 and Emory College in 2000. I am the Assistant Vice President of Alumni and Constituent Engagement, and my favorite ice cream is chocolate chip cookie dough. So next slide, please. I am going to talk to you all a little bit about the mission, vision, and really the purpose of the Emory Alumni Association. So the Emory Alumni Association is really comprised of the 165,000 alumni who have graduated from Emory University. So that is you all. Our mission is to connect alumni to the university and each other, to build traditions, foster student and alumni leadership, and then serve the diverse needs of our interests of our community. All of that is really in support of creating opportunities for investment in Emory's future. And so those diverse needs are what I really want to focus on during this orientation, because you guys are such a critical part of enabling us to serve the diverse needs of our community. You're in different pockets across the globe, and so those needs are going to be very different. And I'm really excited about this group and all of the work that you're doing to connect our alums back to the university and really to each other. You'll see our vision there, which is dedicated to a dynamic global alumni community whose members are committed to each other. That is very important. Like, we can only grow if we're all committed to ensuring that we support each other in that group. And then really devoted to Emory's mission, which is to serve humanity. That's who we are as graduates. We are pretty much understated, and we just want to do good. And so that's everything that we do. Our primary stakeholders are really you, first and foremost, but also students and parents. We want to ensure that those members of the communities are connecting with each other and that they're able to support each other. We also work really closely with our campus partners and fundraisers, and then healthcare friends is a new portion for us. Next slide, please. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what success looks like for us. We measure according to a few key performance indicators. The number one is our alumni engagement goal. At any given point, we are striving to engage a third of our alumni population. So last year, that number was 50,000, and we exceeded that goal with 210 people. That's really 30% of the alumni base, and so that's very exciting to us. This is a new trend within the last 5 years since we've had our SVP, Joshua Newton, which some of you may have met him because he does travel internationally quite a bit. Also, 7 out of 9 of the schools engage their alumni base with 30% as well. And so we really want to ensure that we can get as many people as possible engaged with the goals of the schools and the institutions, yeah, all that good stuff. Another key performance indicator is our alumni donor goal, which was 14,500. We didn't quite reach that goal, but we did increase, which is great because it's at a time when higher education is kind of taking a hit in terms of financial support. And so while other schools are dropping, we actually increased. So we're very proud of that. And then we're incredibly proud of the 32% increase in giving among Emory students, because that's really where it begins. So our goals for 2024 are 5,200 in terms of alumni engagement, and then we are at 14,380 for alumni donor. Next slide, please. So I'm focusing mostly on the structure of the Emory Alumni Association. We have 3 strong teams that are led by 3 incredible leaders, one of which you will hear from today. Carol So is a 2010 graduate of Emory College, and she's been with the Alumni Association the entire time, as have I. I've been with the Alumni Association for 24 years. Carol really focuses on creating programs that will connect alumni back to campus. So students to alumni is pretty much the sole focus of this team. And you will hear from some of her team members who have created incredible programming around admissions and dinners that bring alums together. So I'm excited about that. Then we have Lori Stevens-Hunter, who focuses on leadership engagement. Michael DeSanto talked a little bit about his time on the Emory Alumni Board as a international rep. And so that work falls under Lori's team with the Emory Alumni Board. She also works on awards and other key, I would say, key projects that bring people together, like the Emory Leadership Summit, which sometimes it has an international component. And then Sarah Hay Rawls, you will all hear from later. She is the incredible executive director for this team, the regional engagement team, which connects alums together in their regions. Our goal really is to be in partnership with you all in the best way to, 1, engage alums to the institution, and 2, how we can support you. This is a mutual beneficial relationship. And so we want to make sure that we are also supporting your goals and what you're trying to achieve. So next slide, I really am going to stop because I want to leave time for you guys to ask me questions as much time as possible. Jenny, you'll have to really tell us when we should stop, but I do want to open it up for questions so that I can answer anything that you're interested in.
Does anyone have a question for Jen in terms of anything that has to do with the leadership of Emory, international strategy, anything like that?
Yeah, maybe out of curiosity, I saw on the stakeholder slide, and the last bullet point is healthcare friends. So what specifically that means? Can you illustrate?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I can. Thank you so much. That is a great question. So with Emory having a very large healthcare system, specifically in the state of Georgia, but because it is a world-class healthcare system, there are visitors to the state of Georgia all the time. Our Winship Cancer Institute, all of the work that's being done around brain health. And so we want to make sure that we are also engaging healthcare friends, grateful patients, family members of those patients in a dialogue and in support of eradicating as many diseases as we possibly can. So we have started creating programs where we bring members of those communities together along with alumni. Some of them are virtual. We took a doctor to San Francisco last week, actually, who talked about genetic sequencing. And so just really bringing all of the communities together for Emory's mission to serve humanity. Yeah, if you'd love to know more, I mean, I'd be happy to go in depth and even introduce you to some people that are working in that area. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I want to reiterate my thank you to you all for what you're doing. It is not lost on me how hard this work is, and sometimes it can be isolating when you're further away from Atlanta. But please know that we are always thinking about you all. We're always strategizing on how we can support you, and we are very grateful for your time and expertise.
Thank you so much, Jen. We really appreciate your words of encouragement to our international community, and we're really excited about all the things we're going to accomplish together. So yeah, next we have Sarah Rawls, and she's going to be talking to us about the fundamentals of Emory Network. Thank you, Sarah.
Hello. Hello and good day, everyone. Again, it's wonderful to see so many countries represented here. I know that we're in 2024, but it still takes my breath away and is really amazing that you all are taking time out of various parts of your Friday, which is now weekend for some of you, to be here. So thank you. Sarah Rawls, I lead the regional engagement team. I've been at the Emory Alumni Association for 8 years, so I know some of your names and some of you I recall working with this past spring and summer, and just again in awe of the energy and dedication that you all have put forward as we've rebuilt our international communities in the post-COVID era. It's incredible to watch. So just again, thank you. I have very text-heavy slides. That is sort of my thing. I have slides here that I will not read from in depth because the point is that this is a resource that Jenny will share with you later. So I'm going to reiterate some of what's been said this morning and fly past some content that I'll expect you to just look at as you need to on a later basis. So don't worry about that if we fly through. I will try to keep my eye on time. My goal today is to make sure that you understand what you are really representing and the partnership that you truly engage in with the regional team on a daily basis. You obviously understand what Emory Networks do in practice, but I know we hear from a lot of our board members, just it's helpful to revisit that why and how we are measuring our success so that you understand your role in all of it. So the regional engagement team, we advance Emory's mission by strengthening alumni communities around the globe through service, learning, and shared affiliations. And really, when we reflect on why we do that, of course, we are trying to invest in the university's growth. We're looking for alumni who will play a role in that through volunteerism, through philanthropy, but we are there to make sure that that Emory network is actually of value and that we deliver on that value throughout an alum's lifetime. So we're there to make sure that that degree, that you're continuing to reap the benefits. And again, what you all do is a gigantic part of that value proposition. So Jenny, next slide. And I'm sorry that my internet's out, so I'm joining from my phone and not walking through my slides. This is the objectives of the regional team. Again, we connect alumni to each other and to Emory. We're producing those experiences. We're cultivating volunteer leaders, not just on network boards, but through other volunteer outlets as well. And we're promoting opportunities to invest in Emory's future. And again, that's important. You're going to hear later about some programs that Emory produces outside of our network offerings. That's an opportunity to invest in Emory's future, but again, through philanthropy as well. Next slide. And these are overarching goals. Again, this is to reference, but we often hear our board members very keen to understand how we are measuring success. So we just want you all to know that we are focused on that alumni engagement number. So of course, we're going to consider how we're allocating resources, both funding, but also time and marketing and other resources to ensure that we're not only deepening relationships, but also reaching out to new folks as well. And then within the regional engagement officer goal portfolio, they have plans within their territories that they need to execute to make sure that they are also meeting those engagement goals. We are looking at how many board members and volunteers they're recruiting. We're breaking out what that year-over-year engagement growth looks like overall, but also within certain types of engagement, which we'll talk about in a moment. And of course, they have to support those signature initiatives. So everyone has their goal for how their region supports a program or a priority that another team is ultimately producing. And of course, the operational goals that we all have. Next slide. And then this is our engagement pyramid, because we say engagement often, but again, I found it is helpful to ensure that we are all on the same page. So when Jen talked about those engagement numbers, this is what we mean. Engagement is a meaningful interaction with one's alma mater. We, of course, cannot capture all of those, but with your help, we try to get as much of that information as possible. And of course, your help in producing new engagement outlets. So we follow an industry standard association called CASE, the Council for Advancement and Support of Education. And so that's what all the universities that I know of follow. And so they break out those meaningful touch points in these 4 categories: communication, like clicking on an email; experiences, like attending events; volunteerism, which could be anything from nominating someone for an award to serving on a board; and then of course, gifts of any size. And our team is also focused on working with you to build out specifically that volunteer piece of the pyramid. We want an entire ecosystem of volunteers who are maybe doing 1 hour of service through our alumni and mission program, or opening their home for a student while they're studying abroad, or influencers who could host events, speak on panels, and then of course, the very few who will show that passion and dedication and actually serving on a board. All right, next slide, Jenny. You know this, Jen just read off our Emory Alumni Association mission, but I think it's important to have this slide for y'all to reference later. If you are again ever wondering, what is our role when someone asks me, what does an Emory network do? These are all the ways that the events that you plan, the conversations that you have, that they support our mission. Next slide. So at a high level, now we'll drill down into Emory Networks. You come into play, you absolutely help scale staff efforts to cultivate relationships and produce experiences. And so at a very high level, it's helpful to understand you are representing your members. Whether, I know internationally that is typically a local population, but domestically, and we hope that this expands globally, we're seeing more and more networks form around industries or workplace or identities or other affiliations. So your goal is to represent your members, connect them back to Emory, of course, and then help advance that group. So of course, thinking about the sustainability, the succession planning for leadership. Are you creating some traditional events, which I know many of you have, that your members can come to expect each year? So you're making sure that there's longevity there. Next slide. And if the network had a scorecard, again, this is something just to consider as you wonder about the success. And often we have our volunteers asking us, how should we make our plan? So this is what we're asking the network to consider as you touch base at the end of the fiscal year or as you do a board kickoff call. It's important to come back to these, the scorecard. Are you creating an environment of respect among your board members? How long have you been active? How's your board health? Are the members, is everyone on the board assigned a role? Are people following through on their commitments? Are they held accountable? Marketing and communications, are you speaking to your members frequently? Support of signature Emory initiatives. What have you done to try and promote some programs that Emory's offering so that it's not all resting on your shoulders to produce local activities? Board giving, we do expect that all of our boards across the university that we achieve 100% board giving. So every board member is making a gift of any size, could be $25 to the cause of their choice. But that is an indicator of board effectiveness and health. And of course, effectiveness in reaching their members, delivering on their annual plans and reaching new members, as well as deepening relationships, and then potential for future growth. So that could, again, be investing in bringing in new members, community partnerships, but overall, your effectiveness. All right, next slide. And this, at an individual level, this is what we're expecting from our board members, of course, to be passionate about what you do, adhere to our policies, creating that environment of respect with your fellow volunteers, with staff, just understanding that we all know, especially in the international community, there are some challenging policies that we all have to work around, but just communicating with staff, and we are doing our best to set those expectations. And you all asking great questions and bringing up issues is very helpful for us to set those expectations at the outset. Communicate and participate. We expect all of our board members, even if you are signing up to do one thing a year and maybe you're going to meet twice a year, let's just communicate that again. And stay in touch with your staff partner, which is Jenny. Document, that is an important part because many of your networks have been going for years. And the fact that you've documented what you've done have allowed new volunteers to come in. And again, that succession planning and that longevity to actually occur and those traditions to foster. Steward network resources. So again, everyone has funding and we know we always wish it was more funding, but at the end of the day, we are a nonprofit. So that is something we always have to keep in mind. Are we being good stewards of those resources and understanding that we use those resources to reach as many alumni as we can? All right, and next slide, because I will wrap this up. This is a typical board year. I'll let you reference this later, but it is helpful at times for people to think about the year and say, of course, it's going to differ by network, what's going to be on your annual plan. But this is helpful to just consider typically what occurs both from the Emory programming side and what the boards would be doing when you kick off your new board cycle in September and annual planning in the summer. What happens in between? And also I've put some markers here of some conferences and trainings that we offer on an annual basis for our volunteers. Okay, next slide. And of course, member engagement. Again, I will skip past this. Of course, you all engage members through experiences. These are the 4 different types of experiences that we typically think of when we're considering a balanced calendar of offerings. And so domestically, which I know Jenny is talking about this with you all internationally, we've thought of these 4 different verticals: Emory Cares, service activities, but also just civic engagement and board preparedness. Emory in your neighborhood, hyper-local experiences or cultural experiences. Emory Explores, more of the content-rich events that not just promote Emory's intellectual capital, but our prominent alumni. And Wonderful Wednesdays, which is taking that campus tradition and bringing it out to alums by providing more social events focused on fellowship. So that can be helpful when you're plotting out your calendar. And again, these are resources that are available to you, your staff partner, which I have a slide later I will not talk through. But your staff partner's there to be your consultant, your champion, your advisor, certainly helping you guide you through Emory's policies and available data and resources. You, of course, have best practices from other networks, and Jenny wants to create more communities and spaces for our international volunteers to be able to share those best practices. So please share your feedback. What would you actually participate in? What would be meaningful for you and helpful to be the delivery system for those best practices? We have data, of course, funding, and later on, again, it's a slide you can reference later. I do have a slide about our budgeting calendar if you ever want to look at that and ask Jenny questions. Connections. This could be with Emory alumni board members, other board members in the university, faculty, staff. We're here to make those connections on your behalf to help you advance your work. And of course, training and conferences. So those are the resources that we provide to help you do what you do best. And these are resources that I'll encourage you to bookmark. So I'm just putting them in one place. So if you want to click on all these and bookmark them, just know that, of course, we have our volunteer toolkit that has basic information, but we also have great content.
Sarah? Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was just me. I think Sarah cut. But yes, you guys can take a look at the volunteer toolkit, which has all of these amazing resources. And you've been working with me, so you know all of the things that I will be able to provide. But if you have any questions regarding that, please let me know. Let's
Yep, and
see.
Jenny, I don't know if that was just me. I don't know why. I'm sorry that I'm having internet issues, but that was me. Thank you all so much. I hope to talk to you again in the future since there wasn't much time today.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. I think you did cut out for a little bit. So, but I think we understood most of the information. And thank you so much, Sarah, for all of your great work and leadership with us. And I wanted to see if anyone had any questions for Sarah while she's here right now with us. No questions? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Sarah. If any of them pop up, I'll be sure to let you know. So next we have Trish. Many of you guys work with Trish or know Trish. So thank you so much. And thank you, Jen, for being with us. We really, really appreciate it. So Trish, take us away.
Sure, and thank you, Jenny, for putting this together. Good morning to my colleagues here in Atlanta, and good afternoon or evening to all of our alumni. Like Jenny said, I have met with some of you and hope to see many more in the coming months. You can go to the next slide, Jenny. Here's our team. I'm representing our team today, but Katie Bush is our executive director. We are a team of 2. Currently, we are part of the regional domestic team here in the United States, but also as an extension of that, there is the international team. And if on the next slide, we'll go through where we cover. Or actually, that's fine. We'll just go here. Our goals are rolled up into all of advancement and alumni engagement goals. And our goals are sought out through metrics as well. And so one of our biggest goals is to build relationships among international prospective donors, alumni, parents, grateful patients, and then friends to support programs and priorities. And pointing out that grateful patient again, because so many people have come to the US and have chosen Emory for cancer treatments, for heart treatments, the things that we're known for. And so we want to make sure that they are telling other people in their regions that Emory is a place for medicine. The other thing is that the process that we follow is we identify who we want to talk to as far as our constituents that I identified earlier in that goal. And then we qualify them by meeting with them either virtually or face-to-face, hopefully, when we're in country. Then we cultivate them. And that's where the piece of Jenny and engagement comes in, is because through cultivation of programs of interest, priorities that match your interest or that of an alum or a donor is so important. And so if people are not engaged, we can't hopefully engage them to give philanthropically. And so can you go back, Jenny?
I think we might have lost, give me 1 second, see if I can share here. Melissa is actually the one helping us with the slides, but we're having some connectivity issues. 1 second, please.
Can you go back one more? Terrific. Okay. And then partnerships. We partner, just like Jenny does, with all of our college schools and units, all of their faculty and deans, to provide opportunities one-on-one with alumni, with parents, with corporations, so that they can better understand what our needs are and how they can support that or partner with us. And so it is a true partnership. And then our 3 campaign priorities that everyone is talking about is student flourishing, faculty eminence, and research excellence. And we're really focused on the scholarship piece of student flourishing, everything from undergraduate to graduate programs, and then supporting faculty. And that could be through programming. It could be through support of a fellowship or a faculty position. And then, of course, research excellence. And that comes in many different forms, not just through hard sciences or through the healthcare side. Next slide. And this is, I wanted to just show 2 people can't go everywhere in the world, yet we're trying to go to where most of our alumni reside and where most of our students are coming to Emory year after year. And that changes a bit. And so we are nimble, but this is where we are currently right now. Katie Bush is in the UK, India, and South Korea. She is actually traveling home from South Korea as we speak. And then I am in UAE, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. And I'll be making a trip to Singapore in February, Hong Kong and Taiwan in April, then back to all 3 in May and June. So I hope to meet many of you there, even if you don't live in those countries. Just know that I am there and I am doing the good work on behalf of the university and working with Jenny to really make deep-rooted connections that will last a lifetime, that will lead to philanthropy. And as Sarah Rawls said, philanthropy starts with literally a $1 gift. If you can get in the habit of making a gift that you know makes a difference, that will play into the larger picture. And we are providing all this for our students to have the best experience possible, not just in the classroom, but experiential as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Trish. We really appreciate all of the amazing work that goes into this. I'm actually really thankful for Trish because she's really helped me navigate this whole international sort of engagement situation as we speak. And so I'm very grateful for her partnership as well as Katie's. So thank you so much, Trish. And if you have any questions later on, Trish is more than willing to answer them for you all. Up next, we will have Kwan, who's going to be giving us some leadership advice. Kwan has been a longtime member of the Emory China Network and has done many events across different years. So I think it will be very beneficial for us to see how he's done it and what has worked for him.
Thank you, Jenny. Hello again, everyone along the globe. Thank you very much for the opportunity, for us, and especially for me to represent China to share some of our, I would say, practices. I can't really say this is our advice because situations vary, country by country. I know I didn't mention my favorite chocolate flavor, but it's vanilla. So our goal is to build a vibrant Emory community here in Shanghai and at large in China. So maybe for us to get a flavor of how we did that in the past years, watch a short video. Jenny, if you can play that.
Next slide, please. Just increase the volume, I believe. The video. Melissa, if you could increase the volume on the video, I think it has a little. Well, we can see it, but we can't hear it. But then, Juan, how about you talk us through what's happening in the video?
I think it's totally okay. It's just basically looking back of the events we host during a year, like in a time sequence.
Can you tell us some of these events were?
Yeah. So, and this is driven size very typical China, and basically play different roles like you are in a drama, and we have a mixer with our good neighbor Georgia Tech. At the end of the year, because that video was made in 2021, so 2022 was a year of Tiger. So usually we do this kind of a recap, between the New Year and the Chinese Lunar New Year. So hopefully that gives you all a flavor, of how we do events here in China. So back to the slide. It's impressive. I'm really impressed of all the resources. Sarah and Trish and all you guys showed just now. To be honest, some of the resources we may not be aware, for our time. I think we should make more use of those resources. But relatively speaking, some of the common challenges, for international networks, are the ones I list on the slide, right? Usually we have a much smaller alumni base, not as big as those alumni in Atlanta or in New York City, right? And we have a lower brand awareness. I mean, Emory is a top university in UK for sure, and it has been, increasing in terms of prominence in China as well. But I remember clearly when I just came back in 2011, a lot of people even don't know, where Emory is, and of course, less resources. I just happen to know, like in, hey Siri, thank you for the message. I just happen to know, like in New York, there is a full-time staff, right, to help to organize events for alumni in the New York City. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's kind of a luxury, we don't have here as international, chapters or networks. But that doesn't mean we can't steer a program and execute quality events and create a unique experience for alumni in in other parts of the world. So the two pictures here is just to illustrate, we can do a lot of joint events. That's the one on the top left we do with a lot of other universities, and we also look for partners. So this is the second one is a typical Emory Care project we carry out in China. So we partner with, a local institute called MOCA, Modern Art Institute, and they have a very, very good program to bring art to the community. Alumni really enjoy the experience, and they bring a lot of the kids together to do good to the society. Next slide, please, Jenny. So I kind of put all the things we do in this 5P, right? How we can really, make a meaningful and a unique experience. It's patience, it's about perseverance. Most importantly, it's about people, and you have to have the right organization. And last but not least, you have to promote yourself, right, again and again. So this 5Ps to address them. So we can talk a little bit more of each of those points. Next. So since I've been involved in the Emory chapter or international networks, it has been, today it's like more than 10 years. And I've really watched this to grow. Very small chapter and, very small size event to, like the one we're going to pull off. I just saw, Jenny, we got more than 70 registrants for the year-end celebration. So that's not the size we can imagine at the beginning, like back 10 years ago. So it takes time to grow the community, to grow the confidence. And so I know when I heard the self-introduction round, I know some of you guys are just new to this, to this role, right? You may feel the pressure, you don't know who is going to come, what is going to be good. So all I want to say, don't give yourself too much pressure, take the easy, and it will grow, right? So patience is very important. This is a picture we just from one of a very recent gathering, right? Some of the new faces there, and this is another one. So when I say perseverance, it's really, even when you have, for example, the most recent one is the COVID pandemic, right? So that picture is about all the board members have a planning meeting over WeChat. So we are still having, even this is in the COVID, actually we are, from the facial expression you can see, we were all very happy being able to talk to each other. And, sometimes there's geopolitical tensions, but, educated in the US, all of our fellow alumni are all more open-minded. So we try to navigate those. So perseverance is very, very important. So this first two, patience and perseverance, is all about your attitude. So I think you need to put your attitude right first, and then you can do the right thing. Next. So people is the most important one. I think build a very strong core team is at the center of everything we do. So we do a lot of team building. So you can see from one of the picture, and of course you need to get your sponsors. So the other picture shows our efforts to get one of very distinguished writers in China. His name is Feng Tang. Dr. Zhang Haipeng, that's his real name. One of the distinguished international alumni. So that helped to really to attract alumni to events. Next one. And process, so from the left points, you can see we have executive board, and for some, board members who can no longer to do a lot of work, but they still retain, we have like a sounding board, right, advisory board, and we divide it into different, groups, for industry and function. So right, I actually have more than 20 groups. And we have function leaders and club leaders also to take a specific role in our board. I think this is, probably a good match for representation from different industry, from different, years of, etc. Last one, I guess. Promotion, right? So we are a little bit lucky to have a relatively bigger size of alumni base. So I just remember the number. Jenny, you showed at the beginning, it's about 2,000, alumni, and we actually got a 2,100 subscriber to our WeChat public account. So I don't know sure whether that's a match, but it's relatively, good size. And we have this account to push our events. And after every event, we have an event recap to recruit new volunteers and also to share, those good moments. Next one. I think another perspective I'm bringing to you all is, although this is meant to be voluntary, okay, but I think to run it really well, you need to have a, commercial mind, right? So I think at the heart of it is to invest in your team, especially in core teams. So we do, try every means to honor and to invest and to honor our core team members. So we get those gifts from the university and we do specific events. And, actually we work for the board together and, we are also very, very close friends in life. Next one. And, my two pieces of suggestions, right? These two pictures, on the left is the one I think I joined the international, alumni conference back in 2020, maybe. So we have all the faces from Asia. And to the right one, I think it's the most recent event I can remember that we host Emory delegates. So if you look carefully, you can see the number back in 2016. So we do hope, we'll be able to welcome the delegates from the university more often in the region and, close that even closer ties between us and with the university. Yeah, that's all I have for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwan. That is amazing, especially all the growth and the success that we've been seeing in China overall. It's really awesome. So I just wanted to thank you for sharing all of that wonderful information with us, those tips. And excuse me, Kwan will be around for a little bit after our call. So if you have any questions for him, just be sure to ask away. But that was very important. Thank you, Kwan. I appreciate it. Up next, we have Jen Foster, and she's going to be talking about a successful social alongside Ted Ross. So Jen, why don't you take it away for us?
Hi, good day, everyone. I'm Jen. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Regional Engagement for the New York region. We are a very large region, so there is a lot going on over here, but I'm going to speak to you very briefly about a few things regarding success and how you build successful events, and happy to take any questions at the end of the presentation. So if you could start with the first slide, I want to focus on what it means to define success. And I'm going to specifically be utilizing the region of New York in order to share some of these points, though please keep in mind that a lot of these tools are applicable to events, whether they're large or small. So for New York, in case you're not aware, we have the unique distinction of having the most alumni outside of Atlanta with about 11,000 plus alumni. So for us, we have to think very specifically about how we're going to engage such a large swath of alumni in a large region. And really, it's hard to place a price tag on success when it comes to alumni events. Most events, whether big or small, provide some form of value to attendees. But we do have ways, both formal and informal, to gauge success, and this may differ from region to region. So I've listed just sort of an overview of some of the things that I consider. I'm not going to dive into all of them just in the interest of time, but just for a brief overview, we think about things like tracking the trends within our region. What is the value proposition that is going to be of interest to our alumni? What are they seeking in an event? We also want to hear what the reception is to marketing and communications. Never underestimate the power of a robust and very, exciting registration page that's going to entice people to learn more and be interested in learning more about your event. Word of mouth, are people talking about this event? As you all are probably aware, a location is extremely important, and you probably hear this time and time again. We hosted a Welcome to New York event in a very brand new miniature golf location about 2 years ago. And it had recently opened, and folks were very excited, not only in playing miniature golf, but also seeing the space. And so we sold out in record time, and we found that that location was really conducive to inciting interest in the event. Attendance, really regardless of intended capacity. So you could have a very small, more intimate event where you're only, hoping to get 10 people, but you have a wait list for that event, or you can have a larger event where you might not fill up to capacity, but you still have a lot of interest and a lot of people register to come. Post-event feedback, that can be anecdotal information, or it could be more formally received from alumni, either through surveys and polls, which I'll talk about a little bit more in detail soon. And of course, as you're planning or going through annual planning over the summertime, thinking about what were the trends for the previous year and how can I either capitalize on those that are really strong and positive, and how can I sort of redirect in areas where things did not go exactly how I planned. And I just wanted to point out very quickly that the photo on this slide is very intentional. This was a smaller event, but guests had the opportunity to meet one of our alumni. He's in the bottom right. His name is Jonathan Daymar, a 2013 graduate. He's a co-producer on a show called The Cottage. And our alumni had a chance to participate in a private Q&A with him and one of the stars of the show, Nihal Joshi. And the other great thing about this is that there was age diversity, and one of the attendees there shared that this was their very first Broadway show ever. So that was very exciting. If you could please go to the next slide. Now I want to segue into what it means to prepare for events. Now I know that this slide has a lot of information on it. So again, I'm just going to sort of hit some of the overarching points. It's really important to realize that not all events are going to require the same pre-planning, though all events do require some form of planning. Stop to think about what that looks like. And this can really vary depending on factors like event type, event size, etc. Pinpointing an event is very important. This is an ongoing and central theme as we discuss hosting successful events, as the value you potentially provide to guests will be key in reaching your hopeful attendance numbers. You'll also consider things like your target audience. What are you seeking to accomplish? For example, a smaller happy hour for 10 people. What does that look like versus a larger signature event, possibly highlighting something like Emory Day of Giving? Timing, which you see highlighted here, is highlighted for a reason. Keep your annual plans close and always consistently revisit them and scrutinize them. If there's too much at once, that might not be necessarily good. How does your weather potentially impact an event? Is it a popular travel time? Maybe folks aren't going to be around to register. Thinking about your logistics plan, it's really important to think about adding accents that will enhance engagement at your events to fuel greater success. So for example, in this photo you see at one of our ice skating events, I placed a QR code on the check-in table. That basically directed folks to my Calendly, where they could set up follow-up calls with me to talk further about getting involved. And then there was a second QR code that directed folks to the Get Involved form. You could also have it direct them to a specific survey for your region. And this is great to continue engagement past your events. And then pre-event, this can cover the smallest of details, including, where you'll present your swag. Never underestimate the power of aesthetics and how an inviting space can make a difference in event success. Sometimes it's good to sweat the small stuff. And I just want to highlight that at the bottom of the slide, I did hyperlink one of our critical paths, i.e. run of show. Please feel free to review that at your leisure, and do not hesitate to reach out to me with any questions about that. Next slide, please. Now I want to highlight a little bit about what's been successful for the New York region. And these might be event types that you've already tried in your region, or they might be some that you want to consider adding to your annual plan. We found that campus traditions and signature events that connect folks to the feel of campus has been very successful to New York. Cultural and educational events, experiences, identity-based events, reunions, as well as sporting, both viewing and playing. You know, there's a medley of different kinds of events in the New York region simply because there's such a large concentration of alumni. And interests vary, and our goal as a network is to feature varied options to ensure we are not only engaging the community, but we're also reaching the many different demographics of alumni that we have living here. So for our region, we see trends with regards to these types of activities. And I do want to point out that for this year, some of the current trends are the following. We have our second Lunar New Year event coming up on February 7th. That event increased from 30 registrants in 2023 to an almost sold out 50-seat event this year. We're also planning to host a second iftar dinner in celebration of the holy month of Ramadan. We've had a lot of walking tours that have either sold out or had 20 plus attendees. Most recently, we had a very successful subway art tour. Our alumni and women of Emory, New York are hosting an upcoming candle making workshop that's almost sold out. And we have a Knicks game on March 5th that's sold out. And I'm going to expand on that in the next slide, but it has been growing steadily every single year. And we're also seeing a lot of success with our tennis and pickleball socials. Next slide, please. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about what it means to increase attendance for your events, because that's equally important as well to reach your goals around growth. So it's really important to think about, you know, what does your audience want, right? Who are they? Where do their interests lie? So learning a bit more about your audience is always key. You know, what do the segments look like? Are you considering the different demographics of alumni in your area? You can also really get anecdotal information from alumni, or you can also seek out more formal information, either through polls and surveys. I'm actually going to drop a Facebook poll that we utilized here in our New York Facebook group. We received 74 votes, and basketball had 21% interest above all other sports entries that were listed there. Also, it's important to think about your value proposition. So in addition to learning about your audience, consider what brings them value, what is going to get them out to an event. Using New York as an example, we found that there are a lot of alumni that enjoy live sporting events. So through the poll, through anecdotal information, through attendance, you know, it really offers a chance for our alumni to develop connections and showcase camaraderie over a shared fandom or joyful competition over competing teams. Overall, these events provide alumni with an opportunity to bond over a shared interest, which is really important. We also typically bake in a pregame happy hour where folks can break the ice before cheering their favorite team. They can also get their first drink on Emory, which is another value proposition. And so these are things to think about as you're deciding what event is worth replicating from one year to the next, or what events maybe you want to strike from your annual plan because they're not bringing in the attendance or they're not growing in the way that you want to. I'd also say that it's really important to, you know, harness your community, your network, think about your board and how you utilize them to spread the word. Never underestimate the power of word of mouth, and really maximize your communications, which I think is, you know, self-explanatory. Very quickly, I just want to utilize the next game as an important case study of how we are reaching our own growth goals in New York. So on January 12th of 2022, we hosted our first game. We had 32 attendees. The next year, we pushed the game out to March. We grew the event to 50 attendees. That was about a 40% increase in size. And then now with this event coming up, we are growing to 70 registrants. So overall, we've had about 119% increase in size from the first time we were hosting that. And that's very, very exciting for us. So again, just think about some of your trends and who your audience is and what you're offering them. And that's really important as you think about how you reach your goals and grow your events. And that's all I have for today, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen. That was amazing. It's really cool to see what New York has been able to accomplish. And while New York is huge, I feel like we can get so much inspiration as to what kind of events to host and everything. So I'll be sharing all of Jen's slides with you all. And then if you have any questions for her, please drop them in the chat and we'll be able to look at them and answer them accordingly. Up next, we have Ted, who's going to be talking about D12 dinners. So Ted, it's an honor to have you with us. And please share.
First off, I want to say, Jen, that was fantastic. I am also a basketball advocate, so if you need support on March 5th at the Garden, I'm more than willing to take part in that event. But thank you everyone for giving me a little bit of time to talk a little bit about Dinner with 12 Strangers, or D12 as it's commonly talked about. So D12 was relaunched back in fall of 2022. We had a very successful academic year with 95 hosted dinners, 130 alums who volunteered to open their homes or restaurant or have dinners at local restaurants, to embark with 613 students who decided to participate in those dinners. D12 is ultimately an opportunity for alumni to have the, what I like to say, refreshing experience with students who are currently on campus. And your network should probably be multiple alumni as opposed to singular dinners, but it would offer you the opportunity to engage students, whether it be during when school's in session for our abroad students, or during the summer months, where you'd have the opportunity to engage students that are local to your areas. This year in 2024, we're well ahead of the pace to beat those numbers of 95 hosted dinners, but we are taking the opportunity to come not just in the Atlanta or Oxford areas, but also go into those different international and other cities within the US. We have our first international dinner expected to be held in about a month from now in Panama. And in that area, we are expecting to have several alum and just a handful of abroad students, but it will be what I like to hopefully call our pilot dinner to go into different areas as we move forward in the 2024 year. I did put a quote from one of our hosts, and one of the things they talked about is getting the opportunity to discuss and talk of different ways in which, the world has changed, and really seeing that next generation of future leaders and seeing how they have already started the process of changing our world around us. And I think having the opportunity to, gain knowledge from not just their side, but also from your side who's walked in their shoes and really getting that experience. I love seeing the pictures as I put on the post, as well as just hearing the stories from not just the alum, but also from the students of how much they appreciated having the opportunity to speak with the alum. We are always looking for different hosts and different communities. So if you're interested in having that opportunity, you can reach out to Jenny or myself or both, and we can definitely work on different operations to where we can make that happen in your area. So any questions that you have, I'd love to answer. Please just let me know.
Thank you, Ted. I actually love D12 dinners. It was like one of my highlight experiences when I was a student. So I'm so happy that this is still going on. And I feel like this would be a great opportunity, especially for those countries that have a lot of students that are either home during the summers, or there's a lot of study abroad students in their area. So if this sounds very fitting for you, please do reach out to one of us, and we'll be happy to provide all the information. So thank you, Ted. Up next, we have Nicole, and she's going to be talking about how to plan for professional development programs.
Lovely. Well, good morning, everyone from here in Atlanta. My name is Nicole Holybar Walker. I am a director of alumni engagement here at the Emory Alumni Association, where I've been for 6.5 years. I previously worked on the regional engagement team with Sarah, Jenny, and several other folks on the call. And now I sit under the leadership engagement team, which you learned a little bit about earlier. I did want to mention, we were talking about ice cream earlier. I'm a big ice cream fan, and I want to share my favorite, which is a flavor called Honeycomb Forest. It's at a local place here in Atlanta. Well, it's actually in downtown Decatur, called Butter and Cream. So if y'all are ever visiting Atlanta again, visiting campus, highly recommend going to Butter and Cream in downtown Decatur. But with that, I will get to my content, because I know everyone is probably excited to get on with their day after this, or their evening. But I'm going to talk a little bit about professional development programs and learning programs in general. Melissa, if you go to the next slide. So I wanted to start off, I only have 2 slides. I'm going to make it brief. But firstly, I wanted to just spotlight a couple of the offerings that you can already take advantage of as a part of the Alumni Association and Emory University at large. You know what? I think I might have made some changes after the slides went up, but that's fine. I can send out some information after. But there's a couple of opportunities that, again, that already exist, and I highly encourage you all to share some of these things with your networks, share them through email, Facebook. I know social media varies depending on the country you're in. So there's some great programs that already exist. And again, I highly encourage you to take advantage. Here in the Emory Alumni Association, we offer monthly personal and professional development workshops and webinars, a large majority of which are virtual. I know that timing doesn't always work out depending on the time zone you're in. So we do record the majority of those programs and put them up on our YouTube playlist. So there's some resources that, again, I'll make sure to share with Jenny and ensure that she can share them out with you all. But this is a great way to see what we're already talking about, and encouraging your networks to participate. You know, you don't feel the need to have to recreate the wheel on your own. Encourage folks to join in on some of these programs, and use that as a great way to get engagement going in your networks. You can also encourage people to watch some of the past content or live content and then talk about it afterwards, as a network. Find an opportunity to come together in a smaller group, and talk a little bit about what everyone learned, what's relevant to you, what's, you know, maybe not relevant to you and your part of the world. There's also a couple of other resources out there through Emory University. There's Emory Continuing Education, who offers a wide number of virtual courses. They've shifted to a lot of virtual content following the pandemic. So, you know, that's a great opportunity for you or members of your network to take advantage of some of the great education coming out of Emory that's being offered to you after you graduate. A lot of them are taught by Emory professors, or other Emory experts that you might not have access to after you leave campus otherwise. There's also Emory Executive Education, which is similar to Emory Continuing Ed, but it comes directly through the Emory Goizueta Business School. One program that I just wanted to throw out is that they do a series, I believe it's every other Thursday, called Business Over Breakfast. It's every Thursday, and it's in the morning. I believe it's 9 a.m. Eastern time. So it's early enough that if you are on the other side of the world from Emory, you might be able to actually participate in it, even if you're 10, 12 hours ahead. And let's jump to the next slide. Okay, great. So a couple of other things really quickly. I had rearranged this, but again, I think I changed it after this went, the presentation went live, but just jumping down to the bottom, again, utilize some of those resources that already exist. And we've got, again, I mentioned we've got live and recorded webinars that you can take advantage of. Also, I think Sarah mentioned this earlier on, but there's some great programs coming out of the 2036 campaign right now. We've got the podcast platform, and Podium, what we call internally the 3 Ps. And this is content that is either recorded live or produced with Emory experts, faculty, and alumni. And it's just really interesting. Some of it's short form, some of it's longer form, like podcasts. But it's great content that, again, you can share out with your networks, encourage conversation around those. So quickly jumping into how, if you decide that you want to do a professional development program or a learning program more broadly, a couple of things to think about. And Jen Foster did a great job of identifying several steps when it comes to planning a social or an in-person program. A lot of those apply here as well. The first thing you really want to do, though, is identify your audience. It seems obvious, but it's really going to help you when you're thinking about what kind of content you want to put out there. Do you want to work with your entire network, or do you want to narrow it down a little bit? Do you want to just focus on people who are newer professionals? Do you want to focus on people who might be changing careers? I think it's really helpful to think about that before you really start getting into the content. Then think about compelling topics. Are there topics that alumni in your area might be more drawn to, especially after thinking about all of the content that exists already? Is there something that we're missing? Is there something that, again, might apply to alumni in China or alumni in Brazil or alumni in Dubai that we're not talking about because it's more specific to your region? I think that thinking along those lines could really help you set your program aside from what already exists out there. Just think about, why do people want to come to an Emory event and hear from Emory experts in particular? What makes it compelling to them? I also encourage you to take advantage of some of the social media and communication tools that you have and poll your audience. Talk to them. What do they want to hear? What would be something that would draw them to come to a program led by Emory experts? A lot of times people are excited and willing to hear from you, and they want to share their feedback. I think that's something that we've all learned over the years is people want to share their thoughts and they want to share their feedback. So again, take advantage of that key resource. Another step, and again, some of these might occur in different orders, but think about who would be a compelling speaker. Who are those experts in your networks? I just threw out a couple of examples, but we have alumni all across the world who are founders of large and small companies. They usually have great expertise and great name recognition and pull. Who are those leaders that live in your area? And also who are some subject matter experts? They might not necessarily be a CEO or a founder, but someone who has a lot of great experience working in government, or who has transitioned careers themselves multiple times and has made success of it. It's important to think about that. And the great news is you have staff members at your disposal, like Jenny or myself, that can help you identify who those people are if you don't know already. Another step that is not here, but I wanted to mention, was really think about and identify who your partners are that you can collaborate with to make these programs a success as well. So again, you don't need to build all of this yourself. You don't need to reinvent the wheel or worry about putting all of this on your shoulders yourself, because there's partners out there that you can take into account. There's other networks. So consider partnering with other networks, either again in your region or who have like interests. Consider partnering with other schools. I think Kwan had mentioned that earlier. But consider partnering with other schools in your region to again expand your reach. And then lastly, there's opportunity to partner with other departments within Emory. So I am at time, but I am going to ensure that Jenny has some of these resources that she can share with you. And again, I look forward to seeing some programs that you all put together and hopefully partnering with you all in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. I know that this is a question that we always get. how can I get faculty on my country, or how can I do a webinar? So Nicole is your go-to person. So we have two more speakers for today, and there are also topics that you guys are really interested in. So we're going to go through this a bit fast, and then we'll begin to close it out for today. So Allison, take it away.
Thanks, Jenny. If you want to go ahead and move to my slide, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all. Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Michael, and I am the Senior Associate Director of Alumni Engagement here at Emory, and I focus on what we call alumni mission and new student programs. And today I'm going to share an opportunity that you have to support new Emory students through what we are calling the Alumni and Mission Network. So Emory's Alumni Mission Network is a community of alumni just like you who've expressed an interest in supporting Emory students early in their academic journey. So through volunteer programs that span from a student's admission all the way through their first year of enrollment, your involvement has the potential to really strengthen the student experience and sense of community, ideally lending itself to increased student retention rates. So through your participation in the Alumni Mission Network, you'll develop meaningful relationships with new Emory students during what can be considered a stressful and pivotal period in their lives. Not only does AAN volunteerism provide you an outlet to engage in a way that's meaningful to you, but do know that with your support, new Emory students, they have the opportunity to build a community of compassion and guidance and mentorship very early on, and sometimes even before they step on campus. So within the Alumni Mission Network, there are several volunteer programs, and 3 of them, Eagle Connections, are pre-college dinner with 12 strangers, or D12, and the finals card campaign. There are a few of our key programs that may interest you as an alum who lives abroad. Now, Eagle Connections, that launched back in 2023, and it includes a suite of student alumni engagement opportunities that utilize an online platform called Emory Connects. Now, in the summer, participating alums will be matched with an incoming Emory undergraduate student based on identity affiliations. For example, as being a first-generation student, perhaps being a veteran, race and ethnicity, and many others. And this will be to conduct informal conversations that really introduce students to the Emory community. And in the fall, alumni can participate in another version of Eagle Connections, which is actually a part of Emory College's first year course called Emory Edge. And here, alumni are able to provide career advice to freshman students. And we're also in the process of creating a program for our graduate and professional alums to specifically connect with graduate professional incoming students as they begin their post-baccalaureate journey at Emory. Next is our pre-college dinner with 12 strangers, or D12, which Ted spoke about a little earlier. And for the first time this summer, we'll be hosting a number of D12 events, but also our events will be focusing on our newly admitted Emory and Oxford College students across the globe. So this program will mirror the traditional and well-known D12 program that Ted spoke about, where alumni will be asked, to host or co-host a casual in-person meeting in their city to welcome new students to Emory prior to their first semester. This is a perfect opportunity for alums of all ages and backgrounds who really want to connect in person with students in their own city. And so recruitment for these specific D12 events will begin this spring. So we'll be in touch with you about those pre-college D12 meetings. And finally, the Finals Card Campaign is a brand new initiative this year that we're very excited about. In partnership with Jenny Minia, select international regional networks will be provided materials to host a card signing activity. And here, alumni will write their well wishes to first-year students for final exams. So once signed, these pre-designed cards will be sent back to us here at Emory in Atlanta, and then we'll go ahead and mail them to our first-year students during their finals week in May. This is really a perfect opportunity for alums like you who reside abroad. And maybe if you have access to a group of alumni peers, you can host a card signing activity with them. And by participating in this event, it's great to know that you can send a nice, kind message to new students during a very stressful time in their academic journey, their final exam week. So if you have a passion for supporting students at Emory, you can join the network today by scanning the QR code on this slide. And there you'll complete a brief online form to identify what particular programs you're interested in learning more about, such as Eagle Connections or that pre-college D12 program. And once you join AAN, you can expect to receive resources to aid you in serving as a volunteer. You'll also receive campus news and updates via a newsletter and personalized invitations to participate in volunteer programs that really match your interests. So as you explore this volunteer opportunity and consider promoting it to your networks, don't hesitate to contact me directly. My email address is here. I'd be more than happy to speak with you further about how you and your alumni peers can support Emory students through volunteerism.
Thank you, Allison. So we've got Eagle Connections, D12, and the finals card campaign. So more information to come on that, but thank you so much for sharing. And last but not least, we have everyone's favorite, which is Emory Cares. So thank you everyone for holding tight. And thank you, Gloria, for talking about this.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Gloria Grievous, and I'm a long-term employee here at the Emory Alumni Association. And I'm currently the Associate Director overseeing Emory Cares and generally alumni community engagement. And I was thrilled to see so many names that I know and people I know on this call. It's great to see the leadership that's coming from our international communities. And I also saw Emory Cares sprinkled throughout a lot of the presentation, so that was very heartening to see also. But so you were all, I believe, familiar with Emory Cares. Basically, Emory Cares is a global service initiative where alumni give back to their communities. This is a great program that involves family, friends, staff, faculty, all that. It can happen anywhere and at any time around the world. But we just celebrated our 20-year anniversary, or still in the midst of celebrating that. The first year, it was 14 cities here in the US. And I think the next year is when London became our first international city, followed shortly after that by Barcelona, and then I believe Seoul. And so but our international networks are so important to Emory Cares. I really love getting the photos from your projects. You'll see this bottom left is Shanghai this year. There was a project around students and books and gathering up book drive. The upper right is a traditional project out of Seoul where the alumni helped deliver charcoal briquettes during the winter to neighbors in need. This is Josh Newton, the head of our division, who was in Seoul last year participating in that project. And so it has been such an important part of our global strategies. Over the years, we've had over 15,000 participants, over 700 project leads, and many of you have served as project leads where you're the leader and organizer and promoter of the projects. And at this point, we're at 62 countries, which is great. And of course, the shirts are fun. I put a copy there. You'll see people wearing the shirts, and it really brings that team component, like we're all working together. And so the shirts are a really fun part. We'll continue to do those. And here we do have signature series of times that we work with Emory Cares. But I do want to reiterate that Emory Cares can happen at any time, anywhere. Here in the U.S., of course, we have Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That just happened on Monday. We're actually celebrating King Week here at Emory this week. And then we had National Volunteer Month in April. And of course, the International Emory Cares Day. But within your own countries, there may be specific times that it makes more sense to do an Emory Cares project. So I definitely want you all to feel comfortable reaching out and saying, hey, I'd like to do it in August or June. I don't know, whatever it might be. We're totally open to that. And as along the lines of that kind of expanded definition of Emory Cares, we also are really looking for different project types. You know, we have the traditional service project where you partner with a local nonprofit organization to do something for that group, but there are also virtual volunteer opportunities, webinars that educate people about, you know, social justice or other social concerns within your cities. Emory Cares everywhere, just the individual, contributors who do things on their own in their own countries is amazing. The combination programming is something we're really leaning into. That's where you have perhaps a social and then you add a supply drive onto that where people can bring school supplies or food pantry items to an event that's already happening. That's definitely a great way to give back. And then, of course, all the opportunities that we have around Emory-specific volunteering, which Allison just talked about, the Admissions Network, the Dinner with Charles Strangers, serving as a mentor to a student or another alum. All of those things can help count toward Emory Cares. So I welcome ideas and opportunities to work with you all. You can reach out through Jenny or myself directly. We really, really do appreciate our international networks participating in Emory Cares. It truly brings to life that mission of our university to serve humanity around the world. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Gloria. Everyone always loves Emory Cares, and that's typically one of the first questions I get. When do we get it? So I think there was one question for you in the chat about how to get them in Shenzhen, China. So you can let us know about that, Gloria. And it's Sarah on. Yes. Okay. Sarah, can you let us know who the recipient for this year's Volunteer of the Year award is? Let's see. Sarah. Okay, I think Sarah might be out. So I think her internet wasn't working. So I know we're at time, so I won't delay us any further. But this year we thought it would be really cool to just kind of honor publicly all of the great work that you guys have been putting on around the world. And this year, our recipient is Juan, who, as you guys know, Juan presented. He actually didn't know he was winning this. So I was like, Juan, you have to make sure to stay on the call. I need you to stay on. But it was also because he is actually receiving this award this year. He's been a really great and faithful member of the Alumni Association, has done countless of events across the world, across China. And we're just so honored to just know him, his leadership, everything he has done. So Juan, we just want to congratulate you. That's really, really awesome. And you will be getting this printed physically in China. We don't know how long it's going to take, but we'll get it out to you. So thank you, Juan, for all of your years of service.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jenny. I think it's an honor, not to me personally. As I said, it's really a group effort. And there was a lot of resources, being put to support all the initiatives we do in China from the other side of the ocean, right? From the home base, from the university. So as I mentioned early on, right, Jenny and all the other, delegates who spoke today, it's really so excited, to see even virtually today, right? All of you, at one time. So thank you for giving me this honor. I will take this to all board members and I will share this excitement with all the volunteers in China. And hopefully this will help us to build even greater programs going forward. Thank you all.
No, thank you, Juan. You guys have been incredible. and I know you're a representation of your entire team. So thank you for a job well done. And up next, I know we have those QR codes for more information, and I will send that over to you guys. But actually, Melissa, if you could kindly just stop sharing. And I know we're over time, so I understand totally. But if any of you guys have any questions, concerns, anything that we can answer while we are online, please stay on. For everyone else, thank you so much for being a part of this. I know that the timing is tricky, everything's tricky, but you guys made the time and the effort to be here. To all of our amazing staff members, thank you for waking up early today and dealing with all of my emails. I really appreciate you being here and just sharing such valuable resources that y'all have. And to Melissa, thank you, Melissa. Melissa's the one who's working on all of our international shipment, and she helped me today with the presentation. So thank you, Melissa, for your work. So thank you all so much.
Yes, we appreciate you and look forward to working with you in 2024.
Thank you. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, I'll try to download the chat because I know that there were a lot of questions being asked, but I'll hang around for a few more minutes. Oh, yeah, Mike.
Jenny, hi. Thank you very much, everybody, for organizing that, and Sarah and all the team. It's just great to see so many people from all around the world. And just one of the requests I would have, and I throw it out there, and I'm sure this will help other networks as well, is there's so much that's going on at Emory that in many ways doesn't get to us. And it's not a criticism, it's just something I'd like to, it is like students that come over to Spain that are here. And I could, sometimes I'm at like a meeting or an event or whatever and talking with someone, and then I learn there's a couple of Emory students that are studying here for the semester at major universities. Or professors are traveling and that they're coming to Spain. And I'm sure this happens in other markets. And in a market in like Spain, where we have a low number of alums, and we need to be very opportunistic. And the biggest thing or biggest help for us would be if you guys can collectively there promote us as a network and a resource to Emory. And I mean the deans, just as an example, we had I was in Atlanta one time for a board meeting, and I met the dean of the law school, and she said, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "Spain." She goes, "Oh, I was just over there for a week-long meeting of I don't know, deans of universities and or of different law schools." And again, it's not meant as a criticism, but if we'd known that she was going to be coming to Madrid, we could have organized an alumni event and also done this through our larger network that we belong to, the Writer Club, which is a alumni a network of schools from around the world that have alumni chapters here in Spain. And I think Sarah and Jenny, as you guys know, we're a member of that. But it's a huge opportunity for us when there's traveling professors, when students are coming, when there's programs or study programs that are coming. And that's an opportunity. And I think for a lot of us in a lot of the markets that don't have the traffic that you get in the bigger markets that you guys have, we need to be very opportunistic.
Yep, absolutely, Michael. And actually, it's funny because that is something we hear from, I think, almost all of our domestic markets as well. So that is a huge priority for us. It's extremely challenging to, because it's a massive university, get in front of everyone. But I think you're right. It's just an awareness building campaign. And Jenny's been doing some of that, but there's a ton of great work to share. So I think that is our charge, to build more awareness with our campus colleagues so that they understand why and how they can call on us. So that's absolutely something we can work on.
Okay. Thank you.
Michael, yes, working on, I do have the list of all of the students that are studying abroad this year. So I will send you that list. If I see anyone in Spain, I will send it. Usually we have a couple of students in Spain sprinkled throughout. But I will send you that, and we can work with Ted to see if we could do like a D12 dinner there. I think that would be really exciting. So, yeah. Any other questions? I think Brian was telling me about a flag that I owe him. And yes, I will be working on that, Brian.
Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for all your work, and Sarah as well. I have to drop off, but great to meet everybody and good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you,
It's
Sneha.
great to see you again, Sneha.
Thanks again.
everybody.
Great session. So thank you for that.